Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about AI robots and how close we are to Skynet and the world of the Terminator. Now, in today's society, with the innovation of technology and AI, there are companies building these like self-sustained robots that are able to walk, move, do tasks, dance, box, fight. These robots becoming more common in society, there is more opportunity for these robots to go astray and have issues and malfunction. Today, we'll be looking at some AI robot videos of where these robots have failed and when they ended up fighting people. Ooh. It's very eerie seeing these videos of these robots that are able to move like this and have almost a free range of their limbs when doing actions or commands. This robot was tasked to be like a street performer. He was like dancing in a crowd. These robots are made out of metal, solid metal or heavy duty, polymer or whatever it may be. For a solid piece of material, coming in contact square into your chest, that has to hurt, especially as a kid.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as
Another martial arts robot.
In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
It's crazy. It's crazy how these robots are able to move so fluently. It's phenomenal how fluid they are able to move. We got another robot that is practicing martial arts. He just gave that kid a two-piece. I understand you're showing off this robot and you're trying to do like a performance of him in a kind of public area, but shouldn't you have like a certain area where you keep people away? Because there are too many of these where little kids or people are just an inch or too close into the robot's area, and then they get, just like you saw, a two-piece. That kid got a kick square in the chest and then got kicked in the face. I mean, it's ridiculous. It seems like all these martial art robot videos are always, the demographic is more Chinese, Asian related than it is in America. So it seems like these robots are more common over there in Asia, maybe China, than they are in America. Because as far as I know, I've never seen one in person. I haven't been walking down the road, seen one. But it seems like these videos, they're popping up everywhere, which begs the question of where are these things being made? Like, where are these humanoid robots being made at? Are they being made overseas or are they being made locally here, but they're like heavily regulated to where us Americans can't purchase them due to local governance or laws? Another robot fighting. This one is fighting a human. It's just creepy. You're seeing this guy, and as he's like shadow boxing the robot, you see the robot like react to his slight movements, and it's kind of scary how aware these robots are and how they're able to perceive things and detect certain movements, even slight movements, and react to them. It begs the question of how far is too far. We're at this point where they're able to kind of shadow box and fight you. What's going to happen 10, 15 years from now when we start training them in a military aspect and we give them more AI thinking to where they start making decisions and strategies, and next thing you know, we got Skynet on our hands. We got Terminators popping up where they are solely taking command from a higher being. We got things like iRobot, where there's a central intelligence commanding all these robots and telling them where to go and controlling them and overriding systems and governance that humans put in place. Another one. A robot malfunctions in China. That would be scary. If you're at this school, you're there, all dressed up in your, attire, your outfit, and you're practicing these performances just for the robot to be there too, and it starts malfunctioning. And why is it every time they malfunction, they don't just fall over? When they malfunction, they start spazzing out, they start throwing kung fu punches, kung fu kicks. These robots are made out of metal, titanium, heavy duty polymer, hard materials. So the fact is that even if they're not purposely trying to fight you, but if as it's spasming out, it hits you with its arm, its foot, its leg, its head, it's going to hurt. If you accidentally are on the receiving end of that, you're going to not have a good day. It could break your ribs, it could break your arm, it could give you a black eye. I mean, you don't know what these could do when that heavy metal is coming at you. Here's another one, another robot dancing in a mall, and he's literally just dancing. Ooh, ooh, oh, oh. That robot had a malfunction. Doing this little dancing, kicking, it fell over. And what happened? It was able to recover and get back up, but as soon as it got back up, it kicked the owner of the robot, the one who was showing off the robot, the one who was doing the presentation. He's the one who got kicked in the nuts. Like, it has no rhyme or reason of who is in the way when it does these actions, which is ridiculous. Okay, that one was crazy. If you were the owner of that robot, you would be pissed. Not only did your robot malfunction, run into a pole, and he falls down, but he fell down the street and that car just drove over him and just ran it over. Oh, that guy was pissed. See, stuff like this, like that one right there with the maid, the robot as a maid, that stuff is dangerous. Like, even if it might seem, oh, you're having the robot cook for you and be it's your maid, it might seem like a good idea. When you think of the aspect of it, like that robot is using the flame, using the fire, using the stove, and it fell. Something malfunctioned to where the pan of hot food, he dumped it all over the floor and dropped the pan onto the floor. All the food's on the floor now and he dropped it. What would happen if he was like frying something that had a little oil, it had a little flame? If a robot malfunctioned in that situation, it could catch a whole house on fire. Like, you won't be watching it every time. Yes, for this, you're obviously watching it, you're obviously recording a video, so you are able to monitor it. But what happens when someone gets one of these robots that doesn't want to record, doesn't want to monitor like that, and sets it up to do a task, and then that robot ends up using the grill, using the stove, using the oven, and sets your house on fire because it malfunctions in the middle of cooking, and now your whole house is up in flames? As far as I know, I don't think there's any insurance policies that are covering accidental robot fires. Why are there so many of them when they're boxing? Why is the first thing that we're trying to get these robots to do, why is it always boxing or fighting or martial arts? Why is that the first task you're trying to train it? I feel like that should not be the first task. When we talk about Skynet and when we talk about the Terminators and how they're these big killing machines, when we talk about stuff like that, they all had to start from somewhere. Why are we teaching these robots first off and having them learn is martial arts and boxing and all these aggressive fighting activities? Because when you think of it, if we're going to start teaching them all this first, then when it comes down to it and they start getting more AI in them to where they could think for themselves, they're going to start using these martial arts. They're going to start using these boxing, and they're just going to walk up on strangers and people and just start beating the shit out of them. So, like, why are we starting with fighting when these robots are around? Why are we teaching them fighting stuff right off the top? Oh, oh. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is crazy. This is a boxing match in Russia. This is a Russian robot fight. But the thing is, in this fight, they don't even have gloves on. They just tape their hands. And this robot really gives this guy a two-piece and knocks him out. A two-piece and his lights are out. And that's just scary. It took less than 5 seconds for the robot to win and to knock the guy out. That is a dangerous thing, because if some robots have already been able to learn enough code or skills putting into their mobility systems to be able to react with that kind of speed to actually knock a professional fighter out like that quickly, what's going to happen to the average person who's not a professional fighter, who's just wants to buy a robot, have it in his house as a maid or a janitor or, a cleaning person or a cook or a chef or a dog walker? What's going to happen when that robot decides, you know what, I don't like you today, and he just walks up and gives you a two-piece, knocks you out, potentially kills you? That is a scary thought. And I think when it comes to this AI robots, I think these robots are getting way out of hand. Now, if we're going to keep up the robot aspect, we need to not integrate AI into it, because integrating AI into it to where they can self-think and self-learn is going to really speed up the process of Skynet and the Terminators. It will truly accelerate the time we have before these robots finally take over and there's an uprising. Well, that should wrap it up for today. If you stayed this long, go ahead, drop a like before it, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you don't miss a new upload. If you got any ideas of cool videos or topics to talk about, drop them down in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Until next time, peace.